Alrighty, so we're going to go ahead and test out this new feature to see if the live stream is actually working correctly. Alright, and we are live. Nice. Okay, so let's share this to Facebook and everything. So, how about that? Cool. This is actually the first time I've used OBS in a very, very long time. And I have to admit, I am rather impressed with it at the moment. Figure out how to send this out via Facebook. Alright, so this is apparently working. Good. Excellent. How do I share my stream? Might actually have to do it this way. There it is. All right. So it looks like it is actually working. Nice. There it is. All right. So it looks like it is actually working. Nice. Alright, well, it looks like I noticed a few things, especially since I did not realize that I forgot, but my microphone is actually completely mono. So I will have to mix my thing down. Alright, well, there it goes there. Test, test, stereo. Well, mono, or just left channel. That should work. You know, I don't know if it's me or actually what I'm doing right now, but the audio seems to be a little bit better in here than an XSplit. I have to admit, I am somewhat impressed. Pop, 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 pop. Hey, no lag either with my video stream. That's kind of nice too. Awesome. I better mute that source as well. And I think I'll send this out to the Twitterverse. Hey, there we go. Sign back into Skype here. Skype's going to be the fun one. I got to test this out. So I get any people calling in, I gotta get Skype to work. How do I actually capture? I want to capture just an application. Well, I'm already rather liking several of the features in here right now. So, hey, and the best part is I can actually do a studio mode. So I have on one side here the actual, helps if I actually mute myself so I don't hear myself talking in my head. On this side, I can actually see on one side, I can actually see what's going on. The other side, I can build another scene and then transition them over, which is actually kind of cool. So I can just go boop and bam. There we go. So that's nice. I rather like that. See if we can do a fade transition. Okay. That's cool. I rather enjoy that. That's kind of a nice little feature they have built in here. Sadly, I got to normally pay for XSplit to get that kind of stuff. So, hey, that's something a little bit different here. Okay, so let's put Skype there, put that there. Might be able to do is actually, whenever I have people in Skype, use the chat here on... I need a third monitor. Yeah, that's what I need, is a third monitor. One reason I actually did stick a lot with XSplit for so long is because of Skype. Streaming, capturing, let's see, Skype, OBS. I'd like to do something other than just having to capture it the hard way. I'm going to have to check for plugins. I know there's a lot of plugins now for OBS, so that might be something to research. OBS plugins. So far, I rather like it. The transition, or the transition, or transparency effects aren't as good, especially since I have a glow effect over here on my Chiron that isn't quite as clean as I like it. But hey, nobody's perfect, right? But so far, I am actually rather impressed with this. It looks pretty nice. Saved me $14 a month, so that's a plus. Or $14 every 3 months. I have to tell Jowski, he's right. OBS is better. OBS is much better. It has some features that I rather like. Alright, so just got to figure out the Skype thing. Once I get that done, the rest of it should come right into place. So, all else fails, I may not even use Skype, to be honest. I may just say screw it and go straight to... why use Skype? Why not use something like, hey, Google Hangouts or something like that? Personally, Skype's got a few issues I don't like. Ads, mainly. I'm not big on ads, but it's what it is. All right, so tonight's stream, we are going to be doing DOS gaming. Yeah. Good old DOS. I got DOSBox installed, and I kind of got inspired by someone else's stream last night to kind of do some gaming streaming. But rather than stick with this typical, you know, current first-person shooters, things like that, or even going retro and doing things like NES games, Super Nintendo, things like that, I thought it'd be really kind of cool if we did DOS games. Not just any DOS games, mind you. No. No fun in that. Instead, we're going to be doing licensed DOS games. So games based on existing properties. I got some good ones lined up here. Things that I've never played. So we're going to be playing most of these blind. Some of them may be ports of other versions, but a lot of times you'd get one game on an NES, let's say in the 80s, but the game on the computer is completely different. Mainly because they're developed by different people. Sometimes you'd get a similar game. They're similar, but they're not the same. Like TMNT for the NES, and the TMNT games developed, the first one developed by Konami, was released on multiple platforms. It was released on the NES, it was released on PC, Commodore, pretty much every platform out there, microcomputers, pretty much everything out there got a version of the TMNT game. Some were not as good as others, mainly things like the DPC version, where in the sewer level and the third level, there was a block you couldn't get, you couldn't jump past. So every time you hit it, you fell in the water. Yeah, it's a broken game. But it does play very similarly. Conversely, there were some games that were made like Mega Man for the PC. Yes, there is a Mega Man game for the PC. However, unlike Mega Man for the Nintendo, this one was made by another company called High Tech Innovations, I think their name was. They made a lot of kind of shovelware games for the PC from licensed properties, mainly Sesame Street and a few others. High Tech Expressions, that's it. And they did this a lot, but the big thing for them was that they did make 2 Mega Man games. They also, I think, ported a couple Street Fighter games, I want to say, too. The Mega Man game I played was an experience. It's not a port. It's a straight up just new game from this company. So we're going to look at that, too. There's some Back to the Future games on the PC I haven't played, mainly Back to the Future 2 and 3. I have never played these before, so that's going to be fun. We have some Batman games. Yeah, I'm a Batman fan, obviously, so we're going to be playing some Batman games. Some of them are on, like the Batman arcade game, which, as far as I know, was only released on home computer. It was not released on any consoles that I can remember, mainly because the NES license was owned by Sunsoft, not Acclaim, who made that game. We got Batman Returns, Batman Forever. We got Batman the Caped Crusader, which was a 1988 game. Its sequel, Batman 2. The Batman movie by Ocean. Beverly Hills Cop. I've heard about this, but never actually played it. So this is going to be something new. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Yeah, not the NES version. This is actually a version for the PC. So this will be interesting to see what kind of version this is. I got a couple of Blues Brothers games we may try. Bram Stoker Dracula by Psygnosis. That might be probably a port of the console, I'm willing to bet there. 2 Die Hard games. Yeah, there's 2 games based on the first 2 Die Hard films for the PC. Aladdin. This is actually from Virgin, so I'm wondering if it's a port of the SNES game or the Sega Genesis version. Those are 2 totally different games. I think the NES though was made by Capcom, but I know the Sega version is made by Virgin. Got a DuckTales game by Disney. I think I've actually played that one before. The Godfather game, which was made in 1991. This is not the one that was released about 10 years ago on console. This is actually a DOS game. That'll be interesting to see that one. The Goonies, which is freeware, is probably a port of the MSX game. Gremlins and Gremlins 2 from Elite Systems. There was a Gremlins 2 on the PC back in the day. That was actually another Sunsoft game. It wasn't bad. Heavy Metal. Not sure if it's an adaptation of the magazine or the film, but give it a shot. Home Alone and Home Alone 2, obviously, those who don't need introductions, but they are made by Capstone Software, so I'm kind of interested to see what those are like, because I've played the SNES games for both. And I know pretty much that is one of those games that every console version is different than what was released. So it'll be interesting to see that. Homie de Clown. I'm wonder if that's actually something from the Homie the Clown, but interesting to see. Hook from Ocean. I'm willing to bet that's a port probably from the Hook games that were released around the time, but we'll see. Got the, of course, the classic Indiana Jones LucasArts games. I thought we'll touch those. Those are all really good games. So, James Bond, The Stealth Affair. Never played that, actually. I know that's actually a borrowed license, technically. A Judge Dredd FPS from Probe. I don't know how I missed that one when that came out. This one was made in 1997. It looks like an FPS. It'll be interesting to check out. A Lawnmower Man from SCI. This one's kind of legendary in its own right. It's actually supposed to be a pretty decent game. But the graphics are supposed to be really good, ahead of their time, especially for being made in 1993. Two Lethal Weapon games from one Lethal Weapon game from Ocean. I'm willing to bet this is the port of the SNES game and Genesis game that was released that around in the 90s, but I'm not sure. License to Kill. I think this actually may have had a console release at one point. It's from Domark. I think it may have had a console release, but I'm not sure. Got a Mega Man X actually straight from Capcom. I actually think that's just a port to DOS from the original Mega Man X game. Miami Vice. I wonder if this is... I never heard of this one either. This is May 1989, so be interesting to see. Never Ending Story Part 2. Didn't bother making one for Part 1, apparently. I'm a big fan of Never Ending Story. 2's not a great movie. It's got problems. Okay, it's not a good movie. I've never played the game, and I remember seeing it in the game store when I was a kid, and hey, no better time to play it than like the present, right? We've got Phantasy Star. No, wait, I'm doing that. Predator 2. I did not know they made Predator games prior to the one for PlayStation or PS2. Got 2 Rambo 3 games. One's from Banana Development, and one's from Taito Corporation. I'm not sure if they're the same game, but we'll see. 2 RoboCop games from Ocean. I'm willing to bet they're just higher quality versions of the NES games. RoboCop and RoboCop 3. Roger Rabbit and Hair Raising Havoc. We're probably not going to touch that one. It's a Disney game. We got 2 Simpsons games. One's the classic Simpsons arcade game from Konami. Little known fact, it did actually have a PC port. The only port that was made until the Xbox Live version that was released a couple years ago. It's not in the Xbox Live store anymore. They lost the license, but it did get released a few years ago, and it is an actual port from the arcade. The arcade game for the computer's not that accurate, if I remember right. It's been a while. And I got Bart Simpson's House of Weirdness. I don't know what this is, but it'll be interesting. Take a look. I have 3 Street Fighter. I have a couple of Street Fighter games. I got one that was Street Fighter from 1988, one from Street Fighter 2 from 1992, a US Gold game. That's going to be probably not a very good game. US Gold usually was making pretty much crap at the time. Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition. I have a Super Street Fighter 2 and a Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo port from Game Tech. The Game Tech ports were iffy at times, so we'll see. That's all I got right now. I'll look for more. I know I have a few. I have some Turtle games for the PC, mainly Manhattan Mission, which is kind of a weird amalgamation of the cartoon with the actual comics. It kind of plays like an adventure game, kind of. I haven't played it in a long time. Maybe we'll touch that one too. Of course, there are others, like, you know, all the Star Wars and Star Trek games. I'm not going to touch those because those will be a whole nother stream and upon themselves. I don't see a reason in doing that. So, but tonight we're going to hit these up and take a look at these classic games and check them out. So, good time tonight. Good time tonight. Let's see what else I got on here. And I'm doing DOS games because a lot of people play the NES games, but, you know, back in the day, most people couldn't afford a DOS computer. I mean, when most of these games came out, a decent DOS computer could cost several hundreds of dollars even at the time, and that was very expensive for most people. It could be thousands of dollars in today's dollars for a computer that could run some of these games. Excuse me. All right, what else do we got here? Looking through my list here. Yeah, and I got turtles. So, yeah, that's all we're going to be playing tonight. So be sure to tune in. We're probably going to be doing this around, I want to say 8 or 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I haven't decided yet. So be sure to tune in. My son will probably be joining us as well, and he'll be playing some of the games. So be sure to check in. So, all right. All right, so 1 second. All right. If you have any suggestions for any actual games before the stream starts, for any good like DOS licensed games, hit me up on Facebook, Matthew Majeski and Admiral Joker, or Admiral Joker on Twitter. Either one of them, hit me up, let me know. We'll talk about it and actually go in there and talk about it a little bit. All right. So, see you guys tonight. Later.